comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We all a part of God's great big family. And the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. So we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children. We are the one to make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
Hi, Marwa. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Hi, Juliana. Good evening. How's it going?
Nice to have you, sir. We'll start by 5 on the dot, sir.
It's okay. Jose is fine. Thank you.
Okay. Good day, everyone. On behalf of the Eco Geek team, I warmly welcome you all to our World Environment Day and Eco Geek Phase 2 Experts Roundtable. We are delighted to have you join us for what promises to be an engaging and insightful conversation under the theme One Signal Back, Turning Waste into Value Through Circular Economy Solution. Can you all hear me? Okay. So as we mark the World Environment Day, we are reminded that sustainability is not just about protecting our environment, but also about reimagining how we use resources. The circular economy challenges us to move beyond the traditional take, make, and dispose model and embrace innovative approaches that reduce waste, maximize value, and create sustainable opportunities for people and communities. So today's roundtable brings together experts who are driving innovation and impact within their respective fields. Through their experiences and insights, we hope to deepen our understanding of how circular economy solutions can help us address environmental challenges while creating economic and social benefits. So once again, thank you all for joining us today. We encourage active participation throughout the engagement, and we also encourage meaningful conversations throughout the session. So without wasting time, let us begin by introducing our distinguished speakers. So our first speaker for today, we have Mr. Dozie Eguilo. Mr. Dozie, please can you unmute your mic and say hi to the participants?
Hi, thank you so much, Juliana. Good evening, everyone. Happy to be here. Looking forward to have a fruitful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. Well, our second speaker is Madam Sabor Dumbia.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Thank you for being with us today, ma. We are honored to have you both with us. Okay, so thank you once again to our speakers. I will now proceed to reading their bios. Technical team, please, can you display? Okay, so I'll start with Mr. Dozie. Dozie is an entrepreneur and innovator, passionate about renewable energy, consumer electronics, circular economy, and sustainability with Africa in view. He founded Quadrup, a climate tech company that utilizes electronic waste to build solar lanterns and home systems with a lower environmental impact. Wow, this is good. Quadrup flagship products which is a portable lantern made from 70% waste material, has been so far tested in Lagos and Abuja. A graduate of economics in the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, he has undergone several entrepreneurial and technical training from the School of Electronics, Lagos, School of Electronics, Lagos, General Electric Lagos Garage, sorry, please, I'm having issue with my network, it's not clear. Okay, he has also partaken in global accelerator programs such as Tech to Impact Australia, Startup Bootcamps, Netherlands, Orange Corners, Mass Challenge, Israel, and Secular Valley. It's good to have you, Mr. Dozie. So we'll move to our second speaker. Madam Sabua Dumbia. Technical team, I think we're having an issue. It's still showing that of Mr. Dozie. Okay, my name is Sabwa Dumbia, and I am an environmental entrepreneur, climate advocate, and social innovator from Mali. I am the CEO of EcoBuild Mali, a social enterprise dedicated to plastic waste valorization, circular economy solutions, and the creation of green jobs for young people and women. I am also the founder and president of the Impact, an organization committed to sustainable development, environmental protection, youth empowerment, and community transformation through locally driven initiatives. As an active member of Viongo, the official youth constituency of the UNFCCC, I have contributed to climate advocacy and youth engagement at local, regional, and international levels. Through my association, I successfully organized El Khoi Mali 2024 and El Khoi Mali 2025. Wow, providing a platform for Malian youth to engage in climate dialogue, develop solutions, and contribute to national and global climate discussions. My work focuses on circular economy, climate action, environmental education, youth leadership, and sustainable development. I am passionate about transforming environmental challenges into opportunities for resilient communities and a greener future across Africa. Once again, thank you very much. We have two phenomenal speakers with us today. So we'll now proceed to the expert roundtable discussion. Okay, so the format is simple. I will direct a question to one of the speaker, and after their response, I will invite the other to share additional perspectives. So we'll begin with Mr. Dozier. Okay, so Mr. Dozier, the first question goes to you, sir.
Okay.
Following several signals sent by Earth to us as visible climate impacts, the World Environment Day 2026 calls on us to send a signal back to the planet. How can circular economy practices serve as that signal?
How can circular economy practices do what?
Okay, should I repeat the question? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Following several signals sent by Earth to us as visible climate impacts, the World Environment Day 2026 calls on us to send a signal back to the planet.
Okay.
How can circular economy practices serve as that signal? How can they serve as that signal?
Okay, yes. Circular, I mean, let me start by saying World Environmental Day is not very looking like what it's supposed to be. I mean, because looking at from the area where I stay down to other parts of Lagos today, it's sad to say that, the environment is not looking as clean as it should be, number one, and the organization responsible for waste disposal, they are not doing what they should. So I don't see that. I don't think there's much to celebrate World Environmental Day right now. But yeah, looking at it from the circular economy perspective, from the circular lens, there is a lot, because this is a signal to let people know that yes, if it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, whereby people don't know what to do with waste in terms of several kinds of category of waste, bio waste, food waste, electronic waste, plastic waste. But right now, especially here in Lagos, we have so much waste being generated across all kinds of waste, right? So talking about the circular economy, which is a new phenomenon, not too new, but 15 years ago, it wasn't something that even myself, I've never heard of it. So
Yeah.
Looking at the opportunities around the climate change and the waste of today, all I can see is such opportunities and willingness for people that can look into the 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 volumes of waste being generated in Lagos and looking for ways whereby they could make meaningful business out of it. Take, for instance, the bio waste in my 12 markets, food waste, fruits, vegetables that gets to waste. If you don't even, if you even if you can't consume those kind of I mean, food waste, you can still use it as a means of energy generation in terms of gas or being it manure or whatever. So circular economy as it stands now is more like an opportunity. Personally, I see it as a time whereby since there is scarcity of almost everything, what we need to do as humans to survive is to look inwards or what we have on ground that is coming out as waste and make the best out of it. That is how I see circular economy. Either you're playing in the electronic waste space, either you're playing in the bio waste, food waste, or whatever, plastic waste, just make sure that waste is being generated directly from the population that we have, and how can entrepreneurs or business owners or even individuals take advantage of it to make it more circular and live better and of course make the planet greener. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insightful response, Mr. Dozier. Madam Sabah, would you like to add your perspective or build on that point?
You hear me now? Correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I think which one my colleague Mr. Dozie say that will be complete what you wanna say, but because when you talk about now in waste management, not only in Africa, everywhere in the world, you talk about the circular economy and also what is the position about a country for visibility or climate impact or world economic solution. And circular economy practice in my context serve that the signal because they demonstrate our commitment to change the way we produce, consume, and manage a resource. So instead of a traditional linear model, we take make, use, and dispose. A circular economy promote a reduce waste, reuse material, repair products, and recycle resource for regional natural system. So by adopt circular economy solution, we are telling the planet that we understand the limit of natural resources and that we are willing to create a system that preserve them for future generation.
Thank you very much, Ma.
You're welcome.
Yes, Ma. So the next question goes to you, Ma. From your
Okay.
perspective, what does turning waste into value mean, and why is it important for Africa's sustainable development? Should I come again?
Yeah, and I think I get for my you're asking for my perspective what is will be the
Turning waste
tools
into
to
value.
value.
Yes.
From my experience, because I start my company, it was 6 years ago. So we have, a typical model, for waste management cannot be currently working in our context, especially in my context. I will talk about in Mali because I know that they have a different situation who is the priority than waste management and environmental situation. But turning waste into means transform material that are often considered useless into product, service, and economic opportunity that generate a social, environmental, and financial benefit. In Africa, in Mali, waste is often viewed as a burden. So whenever when properly managed waste become a resource, a plastic waste can become a paving block, furniture, table, chair, and construction material. Organic waste can be converted into compost or biological for agriculture, and used there can be transformed into useful product instead of become environmental hazard. And this concept is particularly important for Africa in my country, in Mali, because the continent face growing urbanization, high youth employment. And waste management challenge can be an option and solution for that point. Waste to value solution address all three issues in simultaneous. They reduce pollution, create a job, green job, support entrepreneurship, green entrepreneurship, improve public health, and contribute to climate resilience. So more importantly, they enable community to generate a local solution using a local available resource. So, from my perspective, wood should no longer be seen as a problem to dispose of, but a resource capable of driving a sustainable economic growth.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that thoughtful contribution. Mr. Dozie, would you like to share your perspective on this as well?
Yes, so I would just like to add to what Sabo mentioned. It's clear. I like the fact that she highlighted the opportunities around different kinds of waste, from plastic waste to bio waste and all that. So, the opportunities that exist within the circular economy for entrepreneurship is just clear. You don't expect big corporates, whom in most cases are the ones that generate the waste, to go back to start doing how to, be innovative around the waste. Did you get that? Because most of the companies we have today, A-list companies, B-list companies, they started out with the linear economy model, right? They never thought about anything around the circular economy. So it's up to entrepreneurs, startups to take the baton and introduce innovation from the waste being generated by these big corporates, and make of course, a clear entrepreneurship lifestyle out of it. So I like the fact that she had already highlighted the possibilities around different forms of waste, and that is how entrepreneurship can grow in the continent for circular economy.
Thank you very much. Thank you both for the valuable insights. So, come back to you again, Mr. Dozie. What opportunities exist within the circular economy sector for entrepreneurship and green job creation, especially for African youths?
I mean, the opportunities are there. Like I said, big corporates generate waste. They can go back to pick up the waste, whatever kinds of waste. Entrepreneurship is whereby when an individual thinks about ways whereby they can utilize certain waste materials and build something tangible out of it. Let me give a more clear example. So when we started Quad Loop back in 2017 as a research company, the goal was just to do research. And the research we were carrying out, myself and my CTO at that time, was to find ways whereby we could build portable devices locally that could solve daily problems. We don't want a product that is so bulky. It can be something like the size of a remote control, right? We just wanted to build something that, okay, this product is made in Nigeria and it does this, designed for us. It's not fancy, but it solves the problem and it's locally manufactured. So along the line, we now decided to dig deeper. That's when we got the word for the first time, electronic waste. We never knew what electronic waste was. We never knew what circular economy as a term was, right? So, but because of the fact that we were willing to research deeply, that's when we found out that yes, this sector that we are playing, hardware, electronics, we have to take our research, do more in-depth research within companies that, of course, are electronic companies, solar manufacturing companies, and the like. So as an entrepreneur in the circular space, if you want to succeed, just first select the sector that you want to play. Do you want to play around bio waste, food waste? Then you now have to target companies and understand their modus operandi, understand the kind of waste, their processes, what waste comes out from their processes. So from there, you will now start looking at what you can innovate around. So that is all how it is. Innovation is what the startups bring into the waste value chain from big corporates. And without that, big corporates find it very difficult, like I said, to go back to the waste that they generate and see how they want to innovate around it because they are focused, of course, on how to deliver their products or their service to a larger audience.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Sabah, would you like to add to what Mr. Dozie has said?
I think Monsieur Doze say what I want to say because when you talk about a value for waste in Africa, they have a lot of opportunity.
Yes.
I will just add in my own example with EcoBuild Mali, demonstrate how water can be transformed into furniture or other useful product, and while creating income opportunity and reduce environmental pollution, but also contribute to promote economy, social economy, and economy circular in my country.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. So over to you, Ma. What are
Mm.
some successful circular economy initiatives or business models that demonstrate the potential of waste to value solutions?
Um, in my which one I know, I have I think I have we have a lot of example in world. In Asia, we have a company who name Ecolab 8, who is a guys is very advanced about waste management in Asia. I think they hold specifically in Bali or Thailand. I'm not sure, but many successful exist also in Africa and across the world. We have some company in Rwanda. I forget the name of startup, but they have a plastic bag bans have encouraged alternative packaging for industry. That is something we try to, me personally, I try to do in Bamako, in my country, but it's very difficult because it is a social comportment change. And we have another example in Kenya, who we have a company transform a plastic waste into construction material, paving, block, fancy, and other products. And we have a lot of examples in South Africa or in Guinea. But in Mali, in local level, we are not too much. Which one is open now? It is something like 5 country, more than 5 country initiative that transform plastic waste and use tear into something with product and population can use, and also for construction material. That demonstrate circular economy solution can be adapted to local reality. What these example have in common is that they create environmental benefit with generate economy value and improve livelihood. So the success proof that sustainability can profit and coexist together.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Mr. Dozie, would you like to add your own perspective?
Yeah, so the question is successful circular economy initiative, right? Business model.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are the sources? Yeah. So for me, when it comes to circular economy business model, you have to start with B2C, right? Because of course, most times when you talk about the circular economy and you're trying to, is that you're producing a product or you're rendering a service, right? In the area
Yeah.
of for us at Quadloop, we develop solar lanterns from e-waste. So we manufacture a solar lantern, physical, tangible product, right? For some other persons, it might be like, okay, they collect the waste and they use it to generate cooking gas and they sell the gas to people, right? That's like a service. So but if
Yeah.
either way, if you want to really test your market at early stages as an entrepreneur that is trying to carry out a successful circular economy initiative, your first go-to has to be B2C. You have to be able to take it out to individuals that have a clear need for that product or service. So when you take it to them, you will now have them pay for it. That is when you start doing your analysis. Okay, we are selling this product for XYZ amount. Are you willing to buy? No, it's expensive. Okay, how much are you willing to pay? Those feedback are the things that you take back and go and iterate. Why is our price too cost? Since people are not, we've interviewed 10 to 15 people or 20 to 30 people, and this is the feedback we've gotten. Maybe price is one of the problem. Maybe the functionality of the product is another problem. Maybe they are not happy about some few iterations back and forth. You can't do that on B2B.
Mm.
A business would not give you any opportunity to come there and start, doing some play. They say you're not ready. So the B2C is the first go-to market for a circular waste to value solution. So that way you can iterate and, over time, when your product is ripe enough or your service is ripe enough, you can now take it to the B2B market.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Josie, for that. So the next question, how can we adopt technology in the circular economy sector for circular economy solutions? And are there financing mechanisms for global competitiveness?
Should I take that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so technology, yes, is very important. For secular businesses, technology is key. And this is why we have machines around, innovative machines that could help the circular economy sector grow. Such machines are number one, 3D printing machines, laser cutter machines, vacuum forming machines, and the likes. These are portable machines that you don't need to be a very big industry or a big company to acquire them. These are desktop solutions. So for you to have a successful circular economy business model, you have to, of course, adapt technology. And the technologies are already there. Is it that maybe you are printing the housing that wants to make your cook stove, or you are printing whatever that you need to do using 3D printed? So as an entrepreneur in that space, you should be able to have hands in one of these machines. Either maybe you own one or you have a hub whereby you can go use one or stuff like that. Technology is a key enabler, especially in this circular economy space, because I mean, you have to process something. You're not just taking something the way it is and giving it back to the next person. You have to convert it, right? And technology is the enabler that helps you convert it. So this is why I mentioned these few basic desktop solutions, that could help. So yes, that is one. And the other one, financing mechanism for global competitiveness. So
Yes.
yeah, so this one talks about more like access to funding. Unfortunately, access to funding right now is not looking so good. I mean, due to some issues, global issues from the US and the likes, but as an entrepreneur, you have to still find a way out of selling your goods or services. This is why you need to be able to have a clear value proposition. You have to have a clear target market, even if it's not so clear, but you have to take that product or service to the pain points where the person that when you present it to, the person will be like, please, and I need this. So even if I don't have this money, can I pay 2 times? Something like that. That way you can get moving, because if you sit down and wait for some money come, no, there's no manner coming anywhere. So the in Africa is different. I mean, in Europe, you hear cases whereby a startups or early stage idea business is getting 100,000 euros to go and develop. But yeah, 100,000 euros is like a seed funding for an African startup. So these are the things that we need to understand, but we need to leverage on the fact that it's more easier to take our products or our service to a particular market and, as an individual, and create some meaningful business model out of it. But it's more tricky to do that abroad, because you have to follow several steps, several paperwork and all that. But at the same time, every region has their pros and cons. So yes, adapting technology is key. Taking your product or service to the target markets with a clear use case is another thing that will help the circular economy solution grow in Africa.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And in addition to that, like you said, you should just, I think we advise people to just start. They don't just sit down and wait for big fundings. No matter how little, they should start. Okay, so over to you, Madam Dumbia. Do you have anything to say on that?
Yes, so technology is a key enabler of not only circular economy for many topics on war, but on this case, it is an enabler of circular economy. Why? Because digital tools can improve waste collection, sorting, tracking, and recycle process. Artificial intelligence (AI) can optimize waste management system, A mobile application can connect and facilitate our job. Waste products and with a recycler make a connection between B2C like a family and house. And data analytics can help out to identify a business identify opportunity to recover the material or more efficiently. So technology also improve a product design by making a product easier to repair, refuse, and recycle. So one other innovation require financial. I'm okay with Mr. Dozier with that. Several financial mechanic can support the circular economic business. We have an example, like green funding or carbon financial mechanics or public-private partnership and a lot of. But in globally, to compete globally, African entrepreneur and only funding, but also technical support, incubation program, market access, and supported policy. So invested in circular economy in Africa startup is not only invest in business, it is invest in climate solution and sustainable development.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. To the next question, what barriers currently limit the adoption of circular economy practices for individuals and communities, and how can they be addressed? I'll take it again. What barriers currently limit the adoption of circular economy practices for individuals and communities, and how can they be addressed?
We have a we have a several barrier in my context. We have a several barrier continue to limit circular economic adoption. The first one, I can there is a limit to awareness and understanding of a circular economic principle. I take an example. When you go to market and you want to buy a share, the share can, if they send the share to 10,000 CFA, if I make a share with my company in circular economic in a recycle process, it can be little bit expensive than this share they can buy with a normal industrial product. So I think the first one limit will be there is a limit awareness and understanding of a circular economic principle. The second, it will be many community lack adequate waste collection and recycle infrastructure. Not only urban capital, like in my country, a capital don't have a correct or a good infrastructure with for waste collection. The third one can be access to finance remain or major challenge for entrepreneur and innovator. The fourth one, it will be some recycle products still face negative perception regarding quality or safety. They can say it is from a waste, so it's dirty. They can give us some problem for with health. And the last one for me, it will be a policy and a regulator framework are often insufficient or poorly implemented with a government. So they have a lot of barrier in our context. And additionally, especially that is for Mali, we can have a security context, a government priority, a electricity problem because we cannot continue to product with a manufacture without the electricity. So when community understand the economic benefit of a circular solution, adult become much easier, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Mr. Doze, do you have anything to add to that?
Not quite. What I would just say, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Okay, so just give me a minute. Let me take this off my screen. Okay. Yes, so we're talking about the barriers, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir. What barriers
so
limit
the
the
barriers are pretty much the same across different, I mean, all African countries, because of course we're not prepared, we're not designed for secularity. It's just something that, just came to us unexpectedly, maybe 5, 7, 10 years ago. And one of the things I would say, because of this, something that people are trying to adapt to, there's going to be a lot of sensitization and to make people understand the essence, right? There should be some level of mindset shift. Let me give you an example. So, in February this year, we went to a particular community in southeast Nigeria, and the idea was to sensitize them on the use of mini grids, because this is a total off-grid community, and a mini grid company have just set up a 10 megawatt system that could cover the community, not just their homes, but even their businesses. This community they're into gari manufacturing, oil producing, palm oil producing and all that. So they use a lot of machines, productive use machines. But initially these machines were being run by generators and the likes, and now there's a clean energy, and this company is trying to make them see the use for them to buy into using these systems. It was really difficult to convince them because they were like, they're already used to their generator, regardless of the fact that they have to send somebody to go and buy generator, I mean, buy fuel. The person will take a bike and for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or some other person that is able to buy it in bulk and store it is selling it, including that transport and all that. But now we are
oh,
coming with this ease for you to use this. But still, that mindset shift has been is kind of a challenge for them. So what we did was we had to sensitize them and make them release those their bad generators, because number one, it emits so much fuel. Even the women using them, I mean, they tend to emit and swallow all these dirty fumes, right? So we have to take back those bad generators, connect them to the clean mini grid, and of course, give them some incentives. If you are dropping XYZ generator, we'll give you maybe a washing machine. So that way they were able to like, okay, this is a new era for them. And it was really, 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 really beautiful. So mindset shift is one of the key things too as well.
that's true. You're right, sir. Sensitization is very important because most of these people don't really know the use of this. And that's why sensitization is key. We must learn to sensitize people and let them know.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution, sir. So over to you, Mr. Dozie. How can policy reforms and partnerships support the growth of circular economy solutions?
Partnerships and
How
reforms.
can policy reforms, yes, sir, and partnerships
Yes.
support the growth of circular economy solutions?
So for the policy reforms, organizations that are responsible for waste management, both in the federal and state level, should be able to put out some kind of policies that are favorable. So take for instance, you want to go into the recycling of electronic waste, and you need to get some license from the federal and the state governments. It shouldn't be something that will be very difficult for you to get. It shouldn't be something that you'll be begging to get, because the more they delay you from embarking on this journey, the more the waste accumulates, because the players there are not much, and you know the bottlenecks might cause so much damage over time. So I think the policy should be more not very rigid in terms of having permits and paperwork. Although they should be able to do proper due diligence of whoever they are issuing such documents to. That would be a waste collector either ways, for maybe plastic, e-waste or whatever, right? So there should be more friendly policies around that, and there should be incentives for entrepreneurs, startups that want to go into such businesses. There's what we call APR, Extended Producer Responsibility. In Nigeria, it's still at the very nursery stages, whereby people like us that utilize waste that has been manufactured by another OEM, maybe Dell or Sony, at the end of the day, we are using their waste materials to build something tangible. We should be compensated for such activities, right? So those are policies that need to be reformed. That way, it will encourage small businesses like ours and other persons that want to jump into such businesses. Then for partnership support, partnerships is for me is more like as an entrepreneur, you need to go look for your partners, either maybe be it a distributor for your product, either be it someone that has the raw materials that you need, signing an MOU, SLA, whatever. So for partnerships, for circular economy, you need to do the legwork, but at the same time, the government can always come in to support, and give you documents that shows that yes, you are actually a right person to manage such kind of waste, and that way businesses can work with you. Then lastly, the government should put a more stringent policy around waste disposal, especially for big corporates. So not letting them dispose this waste unlawfully or randomly, or highlighting some certain companies that they should hand it over to, maybe some startup companies that they find deemed fit to manage such waste. So that way it creates the policy reforms, enables the partnerships to go hand in hand. I don't know if that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, it does, sir. Thank you very much. Madam Dumbia, do you want to add to that?
Yeah. For me, I'm okay with the policy must not the policy creates an environment in which circular economy solution can thrive. The government can encourage circular practice through recycle initiative, green procurement policy, tax benefit for sustainable business, or extend producer responsibility, or regulate and limit single-use products, and also encourage and invest in waste management infrastructure. For a partnership, it's own for entrepreneur, but the partnership are equally important. A government, a private sector, actor, university, civil society, and other organization develop a partner and local community, each bring a unique expertise and resource. So no single actor can build a circular economy alone. Strong partnership enable knowledge sharing, innovation, financing, and scaling of a successful of solution for economic circular. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. So the next question goes to you, Ma.
Okay.
That's the last question for today. What role should young people and local communities play in sending one signal back to Earth, driving sustainable consumption and environmental stewardship? Did you get that?
Yeah, can you repeat again, please?
Okay. What role should young
Okay.
people and local communities play in sending one signal back to Earth?
Okay. Young
Yes.
people and local community must to be at the center of a circular economic transition. They are not only beneficiaries of sustainable development, they are a driver of change. Example, young people can lead awareness campaign, develop innovative business like my company, promote responsibility consumption like a predatory you did for a big company in our country, influence a policy decision. That's something we did with the event local conference of youth Elkwe, when you write a policy and discuss with a government to adopt this different policy. And young people can also adopt a sustainable lifestyle. That can be a one for young people. In local community, can improve waste segregation practice to separate the waste. Support a local recycle initiative. Don't say it is too expensive when I buy something is recycled. Participate in environmental restoration activity and also encourage sustainable consumption partner. The signal we send back to where should be we choose responsibility over waste, innovation over pollution, and sustainability over short-term convenience. If every young person commit to reduce plastic, support circular business, and promoting environmental stewardship, the collective impact will be transformed for Africa and across the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Dumbia. Over to you, Mr. Dozie. Do you have anything to add to this? That's our final question for today.
Yes, I'm just going to make it very brief. I like what you said around, when young people not to criticize a product that is too expensive, because yes, product made from waste is not cheap, right? Because it's not a mass production product, right? Looking at our solar lantern, people look at it, why is it so expensive? But yes, this product is designed with circularity at the heart of the design, right? Is designed to last, is designed for longevity, right? So young people should be able to understand that these are eco-friendly products. They should be the drivers for eco-friendly products. We shouldn't expect people of maybe 50s or 60s, 40s to be the ones to drive that eco-friendly products per se. They should be the early adopters of such products, right? Then for community should, of course, do their own bits by making sure that if you are disposing XYZ kind of waste, you put plastics where you need to put plastics, you put bio waste where you need to put bio waste, you put e-waste where you need to put e-waste. There are different collection enclosures for them, So that way, any entrepreneur that wants to venture into secular business, if there's already a roadmap that allows them to understand that this is how people dispose their waste, it's easier for them to go and grab the one they are interested in. Maybe they are going to collect the bio waste and they are giving people that contributed to that waste is a particular amount of money, maybe scaling it for 1 kg is XYZ shilling or XYZ naira. That way it makes more sense for anyone that wants to venture into any sort of secular business, right? So yes, the community have their role to play, and young people need to, of course, buy secular and eco-friendly products. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to our speakers for such an enriching discussion. Thank you so much, Mr. Dozie, and thank you, Madam Dumbia. So I don't know, do you have anything to add to all you've said? Is there anything you want to add aside the questions? If you have anything to add that you want our participants to know?
For me, no, just to say thank you to all people who join us.
Okay, thank you very much. So at this point, we would like to hear from our EcoGeek participants. So if you have a comment, reflection, or experience related to today's discussion, please feel free to share in the comment section, and I will be delighted to read it out to our speakers. And also for those connected to the Zoom, if you have questions, please, you can indicate by raising your hand and I'll call on you. So please indicate, raise your hand, or you can drop it in the chat box. So, okay, so no questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
I
Please
asked
go
it in
ahead.
the chat box and you did not read it.
Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to check questions on the YouTube.
Okay, I am Philista
Do you want me
Akech.
to read it or you go ahead and speak? Just go ahead, please.
I am Philista Akech and I lead the Agri-Food Action Network. We are based in Southern Sudan. And our NGO is building resilience by turning climate change into economic opportunities through youth-led activities. So we are planning to pilot a project which transforms environment hazards like invasive water hyacinth and waste sawdust into zero-cost raw materials. So this model is going to work in flood-affected areas of South Sudan, that is Bentiu, Upper Nile region, and Jonglei State. So, and we are going to focus on displaced communities where we shall be able to convert water hyacinth into clean energy like briquettes, biopesticides, and organic fertilizers. And also by removing the water hyacinth, it helps us to clear the blocked waterways so that we can mitigate flood risk. And at the same time, we shall be creating green jobs for the people. So I would love to hear some advice that can help us successfully pilot this project, because it's going to be my first time doing this project. And I really wish some advice how I can really successfully do this. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So which of our speakers do you want to answer your questions? Any of them? Mr. Doze and Madam Dumbia. Did you get her question?
Yes, yes. Can I come in here?
Yes, sir, you can, please.
Okay, so water hyacinth is a big problem. So there's a company, I mean, I know a founder that she does some weaving materials like mats, table mats, floor mats. She does very beautiful stuff from the water hyacinth. I think she dries them, she processes them and all that, and they come out very, very clean and nice. So water hyacinth, like you said, is a very big problem. But if you look for ways whereby you can use it to build something like maybe, she started from something that can, if you have like a can of milk and you can find, use a water hyacinth to build like a pouch for it, like a big bottle holder. She started with all those little, little things, and now she's doing very, very well, to the extent that she's now building lights with the woven materials and put some LED there, and people are buying her products here and there. So don't look at it like it's a small, of course, it's a small business. If you're able to process it very well, I think there's a huge opportunity around water hyacinth.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does that answer your question, Madam Dumbia? Do you have anything to add to that, please?
No, I think it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have more questions? Okay, Felista says, thank you. Do we have more questions? Okay, I think I can see one question from YouTube. Steve says, talking about policy, how can community be incentivized to separate waste at the source? I think Mr. Doze mentioned something like this. Mr. Doze, please, can you answer that?
Yes, so like what we did in the southeast part of Nigeria was, it wasn't a case of them sorting the waste. They already have existing generators or machines that are being powered by PMF, petrol, and we want to reintegrate them to using the mini grid. So that way we found out that we can't just take out their generators like that. So if you're using a what we call a pass my neighbor generator, the smallest size of it, we can give you a pressing iron. If you're using a bigger one, like a standard more 5 kVA, we can give you a washing machine. So, but what he's asking is, for waste collectors, how can they be incentivized? So that one is very clear. If you are collecting a particular kind of waste, you need to go look for off takers. Who are the people that are going to collect it from you? Are you collecting plastic waste or can waste? The ones from Maltina or Guinness or these PET cans. There are always people that are looking to buy it off you. So yes, look for those people and put them together and make some money out of what you're doing. I think we have another
Okay,
hands
Mr.
up there.
Yeah, okay, before I call the person, I think to get him clear, he said, I asked because that's one of the major challenges we face here in Ondo State, Nigeria. People wouldn't separate waste no matter how you tell them. So I think his own point is, when you mentioned they should have different places where we keep waste for bottles separate and also that's his question. Like, how can they do that? How can they implement?
Yes,
That's
it's
the
not just in
question
Ondo
he's
State.
asking.
So yes, I totally get that. So what you can do if you really want people to separate the waste, you provide them with where they can fill it in. You can find some drums, and some other things that local fabricated stuff that you can give to them, maybe for free, because you want them to fill it up with waste that you need. So those are the ways you need to put your best foot forward too. Because naturally, people are not willing to give out waste. I mean, we've seen cases whereby plastic used to be something that people throw around, but now people keep it to themselves and want to even sell it and make money from it. So electronic waste is even worse. People don't give out their, I mean, I'm sure that most of us still have our old phones, our old laptops from the university. We still have them somewhere. So people don't release them like that. Do you understand? So create something that will make them house them and show them some incentive from that angle.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dozie. I think you've clarified it now. Like in some places here in Abuja, there are places where you see they label it where you dispose bottles. Like if you go to some parks, you see that's where you dispose bottles. So I think if we're doing it everywhere and people will get used to it when they see it and then they see that okay, we're supposed to dispose bottle in a certain place, not in this particular place. So I think when we start it, people would adapt it to.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think Ada Rose has a question. Ada Rose, you can
Excuse
unmute
me,
your
I just want to add something with what
okay,
Mr.
okay.
Joseph
Go
said.
ahead, Ma. Okay, go
For
ahead.
this, what we can stop, first one, it is to separate. That is not another option for that. But I know also in world we have a different political in world who national or community authority, you can approach your community authority to ask in a space, a free space to make a special equipment for separate and help and make awareness in your community to help to separate a different type of waste and make a value.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. So Ada Rose, can you unmute your mic and ask your question, please?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So my network has been bridging. So my question here is because I'm giving this question based on where I stay. So it's what is the policy change that would have the greatest positive impact on environmental protection when it comes to Nigeria? Because I know we've been talking of waste, and waste separation. Now, I don't know the particular one that will bring a positive impact when it comes to environmental protection in Nigeria. Please, can you enlighten me on that? Do you understand? Do I make sense? Do you understand my question?
Yeah,
Hello,
Mr.
ma.
Duze, did you get the
Yes,
question?
yes, yes, I understood the question. So she's asking the kind of waste that she could embark on that would give a positive impact to the environment. Is that correct, Ada? Is that correct?
Ada, can
Yes,
you hear
yes,
him?
yes, it's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So if you look at the several kinds of waste we generate, each of them have their own negative effect to the environment. Let's look at plastic waste. Of course, you know what plastic waste have been doing to our drainage for ages, right? Small rain everywhere is filled up, especially here in Lagos. You see that the waterway is already filled up with plastics and PET bottles and all the other things, nylons, pure water sachet nylons. If you want to help your environment, your community, please take them off. Make sure you clear them before they clogged up. That's one. The effect of plastic waste is mostly causing blockages in waterways. But for electronic waste, which is a little bit more dangerous, right? Things whereby you still have things like batteries, remote control batteries, batteries from solar home system, from solar lamp, lithium-ion batteries, lead acid batteries. If you have those ones on the floor and rain falls on them, the sun shines on them, it keeps going and going, bro, it's worse than plastic, because at the end of the day, these things have dangerous materials, lead, titanium, silver, lithium, that when they break open due to constant rainfall and heat, and they get spilled into the soil. It's the same soil that will now grow our crops, because at the end of the day, when rain falls on them, it washes them away, and some of them end up going to the stream, so then end up going to the lagoon, so they end up sitting in the soil, and the soil just soaks those harmful substance. And at the end of the day, these are the same soil that will grow our crops. So you can look at those ones as well. If you don't want to do the ones for plastic, make sure that people, anywhere that you see that people are disposing electronic waste, make sure that you collect them and look for a registered recycler or an authorized e-waste recycler to hand them over to. You can even make a business from it, because if you are bringing certain kind of waste for them, they're happy to buy it. For us, we buy things like monitor screens, discarded laptop batteries, because we reuse them to build our solar lanterns, and the ones that are end of life, we call them end of life because they are not fit for second life, right? Then we now dispose them responsibly with our partners. So one way or the other, we are taking them off the streets. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Ada, has Mr. Dozie answered your question?
Yes, he did.
Okay, thank you. So we have lots of questions on YouTube. I'll take some. Okay, so Umi Jibrin says, hi, I run a spa and mental wellness spa. How can my company leverage into climate change advocacy? Madam Dumbia, did you get that question? Hello, Madam Dumbia, are you here with us? Hey, Mr. Dozie, please, can you take that?
Let me just jump in. So you run a spa and you want to, how you could contribute to the...
Yeah, she runs a spa and the mental wellness spa. How can my company leverage into climate change advocacy?
I like the last word, advocacy. So it's more like, okay, yes. So you can start by spreading the gospel. Yes. You can start by probably you have a flat screen TV on your spa when the person is doing their pedicure, manicure, whatever cure they are curing. You can just have a display TV that shows, do you know about this, blah, 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 that talks about, maybe you go to do like a short film or a short video that, when people look at it and they understand that, okay, while they are watching their favorite musical, whatever, those things just chip in every 10, 15 minutes like that. That way you're creating something, you're dropping in some drop of water into their mind. And that way, you're advocating for, of course, circular economy, environmental advocacy, and clean tech. So there are different ways, because you have a place whereby people come in there, use what you have to move. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so we'll take the last question for today. I think Asmao is asking in respect of the waste management, how can she have access to NGOs that will send her that she can send her research to? Also, are there any format of writing the research?
Sorry.
No, sir. Please go ahead.
So I didn't really get that question. So can you just it's kind of tricky.
Okay. She said her question is in respect to waste management. How can she have access to NGOs that she can send her proposal? I think it's proposal she meant,
Oh,
or her
okay.
research. Yes. And then is there a format of writing the research?
There's no format to writing because everybody have different value proposition, right? My value proposition to an NGO is different from yours. If we are writing an NGO to use our solar lamp as a means of enhancing education in southern Nigeria, for instance, is different from you talking about how you want people to reduce the use of PET bottles and probably introduce your product which is more sustainable or more energy or eco-friendly, right? So there's no format. It's not a one size fits all thing. It depends on the product or service that you're offering. Then looking for the NGO, you have to look for NGOs that are interested in the field that you play, because there are some NGOs that they have their own goals too, the same way you have your goals. They have their goals that, okay, our goal is to enhance education in sub-Saharan Africa. How do they do that? How can they do that? So if you are bringing them, proposing a product to them that will help enhance education in sub-Saharan Africa, that's something that they would love to take on, But if you are now dealing with an NGO that their own goal is to make sure that they remove 10,000 plastic bottles every week from the street of Lagos. That's a different entity entirely. So look for the NGO that is in line with the product or the service that you are rendering, then target them and work on your proposal to fit the value proposition that you are offering. So that way it's a win-win. So when they read it, it won't be like they are lost. Else you just be sending, putting square hole, how did they say it? A square hole in the round peg, or yeah.
Yeah, right, sir. Okay, sir. So finally, sorry, what are the best financial models for circular economy?
Okay, so financial model for circular economy, trust me, there are no best financial model, because I would say the circular economy concept is still growing and a lot of people are still trying it out. For us too, we started selling physical products. Then now we are looking to do, like, okay, since people might find it difficult to own okay, so here's our solar lantern, right? So we started selling it physically to direct to B2C, and found out that most people find it very difficult to pay that amount to get to own it. So now we are doing a more like rent to own model, like a renting model, right? So the financial model is not static, is very dynamic, because the circular economic concept too in Africa per se, even globally, is still, climbing up the ladder. So we don't have the best financial models yet. You just have to try what works for your company, right? Because if you look at your books and you look at the composition of your raw materials, of course, you have to know the ones that make sense for you. You have to understand your margins. You have to understand, if you are actually doing business or you are doing some sort of NGO or whatever, or non-profits, So yes, there's no specific model for my own point of view, because it's still something that you still need to try out before you have it all fine-tuned. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your
Okay,
time.
so thank you
And
to
yes.
everyone for the thoughtful questions, and to our speakers for their insightful responses. We really appreciate. So if you have more questions, you can take it to the group and we continue from there. Our time is up now. We need to round up. So as we come to the end of today's Experts Roundtable, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to our distinguished speakers, Mr. Jose Iguilo and Madam Sabwa Dumbia, for sharing their knowledge, experiences, and practical insights with us. Today's discussion has highlighted an important reality for all of us. Waste is not merely something to be discarded. We've all learned that waste is not something to just discard. And then when approached with innovation, creativity, and the right systems, it can be a valuable resource that contributes to economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social development. So to all our participants and to our speakers, thank you for your active engagement and contributions. We hope today's conversation inspires you to champion sustainable practices and circular economy solutions within our communities and professional spaces. So before we go off, can we please turn on our cameras so that we can take a group photo? Those on the Zoom call, please turn on your camera so we'll take a group photo. Technical team, are we ready? Okay, I can see beautiful faces. Technical team, are we ready? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all for joining and for making this event a success. So before we officially close, we encourage everyone to stay connected, exchange contacts, build relationships, and continue the conversation that began today. You can share your LinkedIn name, your LinkedIn handles, connect with one another. And let's remember, networking and collaborations are essential in advancing sustainability and creating lasting impact.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one. You can check our website
Thank you,
as
Mr.
well.
Dese. You can share your LinkedIn with us so that anybody that has more questions, they can connect with you.
Okay, let me do that now. Yes. Awesome. Let me
Thank you,
just
sir.
do that now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One sec. LinkedIn profile. Please check me out on LinkedIn and to follow, and I would follow back. Thank you so much and have a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. So thank you once again and have a wonderful World Environmental Day celebration.